Now that your broker has found a carrier, most brokers, when it comes to car shipping, understand that their customers aren't even really informed that they're dealing with a broker. They haven't identified that the person that sold them a price and a date over the phone doesn't, in fact, actually have their own trucks, that they're acting as a middleman, which is licensed and is part of the process as discussed earlier. But because there's that disconnect, there's obviously very little vetting of the carriers. It's just whoever calls first kind of helps them clear the deck so that they can get on to the next customer. And it's just a numbers game. You're just one of however many dozens or hundreds of people that company is trying to send down the road as quickly as possible. Obviously, that's a profitable business model, and many businesses operate that way. But the way that we've operated at Plymouth since inception has been to hold ourselves to a higher standard and act as an advocate for our customers, for the shippers, the owners of the car. Just like I wouldn't want my car picked up and moved without knowing exactly who was touching it. We're looking at things that FMCSA has as part of their compliance, safety, and accountability system here in the safety measurement system. So here's a carrier. I've blurred out their name and DOT numbers. This is a carrier that has a out of service rating for their vehicles, 66.7%. For their drivers, 60%, and hazmat is 0. As you can see, the national averages puts them well over as far as safety is concerned. This carrier has a much higher risk of causing an accident or being in violation, which doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad, but it is an indicator that they are not necessarily the best option. Many carriers that we check on this platform, when it comes to the car hauling side of the world, are going to be a little bit on the high side. Many of them, not all of them. But what we're looking for is someone within the national average here at Plymouth whenever we're trying to hire a carrier. Some of the details when you hit see your data, like I showed earlier, will show you a summary of all their violations, which you can go through here and see stuff, for instance, like a stop lamp violation or inoperable lamp, horn isn't working, pretty much anything related to the vehicle itself, but also if they're operating a commercial motor vehicle without proof of a periodic inspection. That's something that would fall on the driver, or an expired medical certificate. That's something on the driver, or a CDL that's suspended. Obviously, that's a problem. Failure to obey traffic control devices. That's a major safety issue. And you can see the categories of what it's related to on the right-hand side. As you scroll even farther down, again, this is a publicly available platform. It goes into detail what the violation was. It even shows the plate number, the inspection date, and so forth, as well as an out-of-service rating. So this severity weight rating that is issued by DOT is given a +2 if the driver's also put out of service, meaning that they're stuck at the truck stop or told that they can't drive. Sometimes those trucks are impounded if it's bad enough, but any of these +2s essentially means that that driver was also stopped, and they put a little bronze coloring to the font to kind of tell you what else happened. But all of these things occurred at one stop. So typically we go through here and we see, okay, no or improper breakaway emergency braking, or here's a big one for us, no or improper securement of vehicles. This is just one report on one carrier. It's a summary of all of their problems that they've had. This is a carrier that I would say is not a candidate for hauling cars for our company. However, ultimately, if this was the only carrier who had shown any interest, it would be reported back to our customers because it's your decision. We just work as a representative for you. So we take it personally to analyze these carriers very carefully. At the same time, if you say, hey, this is plenty safe for me, go ahead and ship it. Ultimately, it's your decision and it should be yours. Our job is purely to inform you and to help you navigate through the majority of carriers that are bad to find the good ones. And hopefully you avoid the bad and only end up with the good carriers. But this is kind of just a brief view of how we vet our partners. And we'll discuss in the next video how we go ahead and contract those partners.